All right, so welcome to week 7. This should be a little more straightforward and relatively quicker than previous ones. So I'm just going to cover first this Bootstrap components. Okay, so just useful Bootstrap classes, basically things that are in Bootstrap that you might be able to find that might be useful that you could possibly use for your site. Okay, so what I want to show you is this. So I'm just going to open up Dreamweaver and give it a second here. Okay, so this already has basically nothing in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you one thing you can do if you want to just see a bunch of the items right off the bat is just do File New, HTML, wait for this to be very slow. Okay, click on Bootstrap. And you can click on Use Existing if you want, since I'm already inside of the one site. I'm just going to build a page inside of it. Click on Include Pre-Built Layout, which normally you don't do that, but if you want to just see what it looks like, you can do that. So I'll hit Include Pre-Built Layout, and then hit Create. Alright, so this will give me an example of basically many of the components that you can see in your site there. Okay, so some things that you might find useful. First and foremost is a carousel. So if you look at here, you can see there's this this carousel in here. Hopefully it'll start. This is for a slide. And what it'll do is it'll automatically slide to the next slide. I was doing it earlier. No, it's not. That's cool. But anyways, if we go down, where are you? Really don't have the carousel built in here already? I thought they would. Okay. Well, I'll just put one in here then. So basically, you can do this, and you make sure you're under not HTML in your insert, but Bootstrap components. And then you'll see this thing right here says carousel. Click on that, and it's going to build this carousel here. And if you go to live, you'll see that now you have this carousel that you can go from page to page to page. Now I didn't size it or anything, but if you do need to adjust it, which you probably would, you'll notice that it starts with this div ID carousel example indicators, blah 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 blah. And where's the closing div? Okay, I guess that's the closing div. It's kind of a weird way. Anyway. But what you'll notice is that they have the carousel indicators, so that's the little dots. So for instance, if I take this out, if I take that out and go to live, see how the little dots are gone? So if I leave that in there, this little carousel indicators, well, it's not little dots, not with straight lines, but it used to be little dots. So if you want to have more of these for each of your frames, like if you have more in the things, you need to add more of these carousel indicators, okay? Or if you want to remove them, just take those out. But obviously every time you do it, you have to do the same, basically copy this, but then change it to frame 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way down, okay? Then you'll see we have this carousel inner, and that's basically your actual, that's each frame here. So if you look in here, we have item active, item active, item active. So that's the whole piece there. So there's 3 of them because there's 3 slides. The first one is first section here. So if you look, you see it says image. It's got this class. Don't worry about that. But then it says source. So this is what you'd have to change to your picture. Okay. Right now it's using a placeholder image. You don't have to do the alt first slide, second slide, third slide. You can, but that doesn't really say anything anyway. And then here's the caption title, and here's the subtitle. So you'll see right there, that's this thing right here. So if you don't want those at all, just take those right out. If you don't want to have any captions, you can just remove those, and then you won't have any captions, like so. So we go here, see them, they're gone, right? But the main thing you need to do is just change your pictures here. And then if you want to do more, you just have to take each carousel item. So, oops, I should take the whole div class caption out. You take this and you would just copy this, Command C, Command V. Okay, let's try that again. Control C, Control V, and then I will end up with it. Now notice that I still only have 3 dots, but when I go, well, you can't tell either because I don't have subtitles on it. But that's how it would add more. So if you want to do more, you just got to copy like another one of the items, okay? And then the last thing down here is these are the buttons for the previous and next, okay? So if you want to change those, you would move them here, and you could, I guess, just delete them, and you see they're gone. Now it'll only auto do it, but if you wanted to change those to something else, you could potentially change them to something else. Because right now they're a sort of chevron, is what they call it. These little lines. Anyhow, that's a carousel. Those are really useful. One of the advantages of using Bootstrap. It also has pre-built navs. So they have drop downs. They have all sorts of things. I'm going to cover how to customize these in the next class. But for now, you can at least put them in there. So they have navs. They have nav bars, which are kind of like the same thing. They have these like cards. Again, if I go to, let me go to this untitled one. So right here, you can see this is a card. So you can see you put a picture, and then it's got like a title, and then there's a link on it. And if we look at the code for that, okay, that's be farther down, right here. So right here, they have this class card, and basically, you have your picture, the title, some like a paragraph about it, and then it also has this link in there. And you can see here's cards right here, and they have a couple pre-built ones, so you could look at those as well. They're kind of neat. It might be good for, sometimes you have those like 4 sections where they're like links almost. And they have these buttons. What else we got here? So, yeah. So those are honestly the nav and the carousel, probably the main things. And again, if you click on this, you'll see. If you click on this, you'll see the other things that they have built into them that maybe they don't necessarily have in here. They don't necessarily put everything in here. So for instance, let's take this out again. So take the carousel out, and you can see they have an accordion, right? So this thing's kind of neat. If I click on accordion, it's going to build this, and it looks like this. But watch, when you click on one section, the other ones disappear, right? So it's kind of like a collapsible thing. So that's an accordion. You could try playing around with a bunch of them. Let's go back here, code. Let's just undo that. Okay. But down here, like I said, for the nav bar stuff, just do like, I like to do the inverted nav bar because that's like the dark one. Feels a little nicer. But you'd go in there, and then what you can do is click on the various items. I have to expand this a little. There we go. You can click on the various items and find where they are, and then you would delete them. But if you have difficulty with that, just kind of make it first, and then I can help you lay that out a little bit better. All right, but these are just built-in things that you can do, and they're kind of, I don't know, they're kind of fun, I guess. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and go to the next thing. Embeddable technology. So another thing you can do is if you want to use what we call like various icons. So you'll notice, for instance, when this is collapsed, right? Notice that what we call the hamburger menu pops up. So that's actually a icon that everybody understands, right? Everybody knows what that is. And there's other ones too that you're probably familiar with. So occasionally I use them. So I'm just going to click on this so you can see. So I click on here. And obviously we're not going to pay for anything because I'm cheap. But you can use start using free. And basically it's especially the free one. It has all these pre-made icons that you can utilize. So the first thing you have to do, we click on this, and then all I'm going to do is is there a quick click? Oh, here we go. Click on this button to copy it. Okay. I'm going to go back to this. We'll go back to this one here. Just going to get rid of that. And then up, where it says link Bootstrap, where it's linking Bootstrap to it, I'm going to go ahead and paste in that link to Font Awesome. Okay. So we have to link their CSS to it, just like kind of like we did with Bootstrap, except we're not doing it locally. You see, it's actually going, it's an absolute URL to Font Awesome, blah, 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 blah. That's great. Okay. Now what you can do, and I'll just show you these icons. So now they have all these like pre-built icons, all right? And then I'm just going to click on free, so I only see the free ones because there's no sense in looking at ones I can't have. But they have all these pre-built ones. And if you look, some of them, right, like this is Apple. We know that. Archive, this little download circle. A lot of these probably look kind of familiar to you. Let's see. Let's look up. Let's see if they have home. I'm just going to search home, right? Home's really common. So here's home. Here's house damage. Maybe I want my home button to look weird. Okay, actually, we'll just do home. So I click on this. I was like, I want to use this icon. So, I don't know what happens if I click on start using this icon. Oh, okay. Click on start using this icon. Click on this, and then we're just going to, actually, you can click on that. That'll copy this bit of code. Then when you're in here, now that we've linked it, when I paste that item in here, you'll see the little icon pops up there. And I can do that for all sorts of different things. So, you know, let's go back. Come on. And let's clear that out. And I'm just going to grab, you know, what was it? I saw an apple. We'll say apple, right? So I'm going to click on that one. I'm like, I want to use that one. And I'll hit start using this icon. Okay. And then I'll just click on this to copy it. And I can just write, you know, this. Oops, let me do a P on it. P. This. And then I'll just do Control V. So it is awesome. And I can use it right inside of my code. And all I got to do is just paste that stuff in there. So instead of having to manually make icons for some of the things that you might need, you can actually just go ahead and look for them in here. And it will allow you to use them. Now, you might need to like, so I think right now it's on 2x. I probably should have clicked on 9x. Let's see. So, it doesn't really make any difference. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't really. Might have to change some sizing of it. I can show you how to do that later. But they have all these pre-built ones. And you can use them, all right? So, and if there's ones that you want, so they have other ones, like if you see what says Pro, it allows you to do like outlined ones or light and stuff like that. But it's just a nice way of like getting some of that stuff. And you probably have noticed that, I don't know if I have any examples here that I'm using it, but I use it in my site quite a bit, actually. That's basically what this is. So occasionally, actually, you know what? Let's do, I'll show you. It was... If we go to here, and then I think class 2, right here. So if you look right here, these are font awesome icons. Okay, and then even right here, see this little, that's not it, right here, see this? That's a font awesome icon. And they have other ones, like, so they're really good for like social media. So like, let's say you have a Facebook, right? So that's like something you might want to have a link to. You can use this as your button, make that your link, you know, put that in there instead. And then they have like, I don't know, Instagram, right? That's another thing kids do. There's an Instagram one. And then you can use those on the bottom instead of, you know, just writing the words out. And it looks a little bit more professional, a little bit nicer. All right, so that's font awesome. That's pretty cool. It's just like, you know, it's just pre-built things that you can do. So another thing you can do is use Google Fonts. So right now, as it stands, whenever you put your if you want to use a text in here, it has to be available on someone's website. But that's not always the most useful. Actually, before I cover that, I'm going to cover this because let me see, YouTube videos. So you can do YouTube videos. You probably already know this, but if you go to YouTube and then click on John Oliver, he's funny. Okay. Still clicking on it. All right. Come on. Sweet. There it goes. Let's pause it. What you can do is you can go to share. And then usually you hit share or whatever, but you can click on embed. And then I can just copy. You can see it's an iframe. You copy the iframe. Go back here. And then we'll just, after this, just paste it right in your site. And voila. There it is right there. Don't mind that. It'll sit right inside there. Okay, so that's you can embed. So if you want to use videos in your site, you can just go ahead and you can embed them using just iframes. You just go to share, actually, if you right click on a thing, you can do copy embed code. And then you can paste them in there. So that's kind of cool. You can do the same thing with Google Maps. I don't remember where the share button is, but you can also do that. And there's a bunch of other things I randomly find that allow you to embed their technologies. But probably the one that's going to be the most useful to you, that you're going to want to use and you shouldn't, it's required that you use, is Google Fonts. So Google Fonts is fonts.google.com. You go on there, and then what you want to do is you can select some fonts. Now you're going to want at least 2 fonts. You're going to want to have like your title fonts, which are your fancy full fonts, and your like body fonts, okay? So what I would tell you to do is this. Monospace isn't all that useful, and we'll get rid of serif and sans serif. We'll just use display in handwriting so they look a little bit fancier. Display are like your fancy full ones. And I'm just going to choose something that's not good looking. So let's say, no. This one's okay. So we'll say I like this one, right? So all I would do is like, okay, I like this one. And you're just going to go through, and they have a bunch of fonts. I like this one. So I'll hit the little plus, and that's going to add it down here, okay? Now, what I would do is you can click on Z Specimen. I've already added it, but I'm just going to see Specimen. And then what it'll also do is it'll tell you fonts that go with it. So Roboto goes with it. So if I click on this, so here's the one that's the, what is this called? Lido 1, okay? But right here, that's Roboto. This is Lato. This is something else. And this is something else. These are basically ones that they've predetermined that will pair with it. You know, like pairing a fine wine. So you want to do is find one of these. You can just manually do it too. You don't have to go in here. You could go back and to the main thing and just grab another font. But this way, you know, I'm not very good at picking fonts. So I'm going to click on this one too. So now I see I have 2 font families, and I could add more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that. Just click on the little black bar. And then what we need to do is kind of like the Font Awesome. We need to link the CSS sheet. So that's this part here. Link blah, 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 blah. So I'm just going to Control-C or Command-C. I'm going to go up here, right, and make sure you're inside of your head. I'm going to put it right after my bootstrap here and the Font Awesome. And I'm going to do Control-V. So now it's linked. It's not actually doing anything yet, but it's linked. Then I need to add a style sheet. So either you have a style sheet or you have an internal style. So style, type, text CSS, okay. And then inside of here, I would just, I will attach it to something. So we'll say I'll attach this to I need to do an H1. So let's do, we're going to do an H1. This is a title. Okay, so I'll do an H1 selector, and then I'm going to put, so this is my CSS rule for H1, and I'll do also another one for P, okay? So in my H1, I want my title, because right now you see it's just generic bootstrap font. I want it to be this here. So I'm going to select this top one, Control-C, and I'm going to paste it in here. And now you'll see the title be treated like that, but only doing it to the H1s, which in the case is this. So I'd probably do like H1, comma, H2, comma, H3, comma, H4, comma, H5, comma, H6. Just so it does all the titles. And then P. And then for this, I would copy the second one, this CSS rule. Go in here and paste it there. And now my fonts, all my P elements, will have this font applied to it, and all of my titles will have this font applied to it. And it's linked, it's getting the font from this style sheet here, okay? And that's basically how you want to utilize Google Fonts. So you should go through and you know, use Google Fonts in order to apply your custom fonts. There are other ways of doing it, but they're cumbersome, and sometimes there's legal issues and things like that as well. So it's actually, the assignment requires you to utilize Google Fonts, okay? So you need to use this. I do care what your fonts are, but I care more that you're using this, okay? And then next, I'm going to talk about typography.